Wake up in the morning, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wanna move closer, but I don't control it. I know I've been trying, the door isn't open. I know it sound funny, but really though, in the beginning we really close. Now we just cruising up on the coast. Don't wanna lose you, I really don't. My God, I'm working so hard. I let my guards down and I'm feeling so far. You won't cut me off and I'm ready to grow and I'm ready to know you more. Please, I honestly say I'm mature. It ain't my decision, it's yours. But I will persuade with my arm, cause I'm ready to run to your arms. I just want you to know that I wanna go to a place where I find you, a place I call home, a place where I'm not alone. And maybe I'll grow just a little bit more, and I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored. I go back and forth when I feel your presence. I'm above the world, there isn't much better, but then I fall levels and levels below it. Don't know where I'm going, don't know where I'm holding. I say I gave up, but I know I didn't. It's just my frustration, I'm only human. I act like I know what I'm really doing, as long as it's you that I'm really choosing. I will never give up, no, I wanna do it your way. You're the king of the world, only wanna do what you say. I know that it's possible to give back my heart to you, do it that you choose. I just want you to know that I wanna go to a place where I find you, a place I call home, a place where I'm not alone. And maybe I'll grow just a little bit more, and I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored. I know that you love me, I really do. Just wanna do right by you till it's through. Please don't ignore me, please just adore me. Wanna be closer to you. I just wanna make you happy. A shining light looking right at me. I give to you gladly, that's my reaction. I just want you to know that I wanna go to a place where I find you, a place I call home, a place where I'm not alone. And maybe I'll grow just a little bit more, and I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored, then I'll be adored.
Okay.
From the MITM Business Consultants comes Man in the Middle, your one-stop shop for financial tips and tricks that big banks and corporate America won't teach you and don't want you to know. Discussing the latest and greatest products, services, skills, and habits to grow and support the financial needs of your business and you. Giving you the knowledge to help make your own important choices for your business and you. Disclaimer: Man in the Middle expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, reliance on, or inability to use this podcast or the information presented in this podcast. Now, here is your Man in the Middle, with 10 years of experience in the financial and banking industry, Art Abrahamian.
What's going on, everybody? Episode 28, Men in the Middle. Good to be here. I'm here with my main man, the K-Doze. What's going on, Kendall?
Yes, sir. We are here on a great Wednesday, November 20th. This is episode 28. And I'm here with the man in the middle, the awesomeness himself, Mr. Art. And we are going to talk about how to avoid your business going into straight disaster mode. Art, you ready?
Born ready. So, yeah, this is a good topic. Like we say every week, we don't know. I don't know the topics. Kendall knows the topics, and was like, all right, what are we talking about? He's like, well, how to avoid business disaster. And I was like, that's a good topic, because we're gonna get into it as to why. But a lot of people come to somebody after they've done something, not before. But before we get into it, we want to thank our sponsors, USCCA. And if you want to know more about USCCA, click the link in the description below. We're going to go in and play their video, and then we'll get going.
It's in our nature to protect the ones we love, to stand up to any danger, to be strong and courageous, to always be prepared, to keep our family safe, to be the first line of defense. We are born to protect.
It's frozen again. That son of... Yeah, I think I figured out what's going on with that thing. Hang tight 1 second. It's that stupid thumbs up thing. Anybody watching, if you know how to get rid of that stupid iMac feature or whatever, it keeps screwing up the video. There we go.
I thought it was because we're too damn handsome.
I don't know, man.
I thought that's what it was, man.
The camera. I just rerouted everything, so we shouldn't be having in as many freezes now, but we'll see. No thumbs up. Just keep your thumbs keep your thumbs on the table. All right, well, let's get into it. Avoiding business disaster.
Yeah, man, because we've had many conversations about people starting business and when they should be contacting someone like yourself when when they're getting ready to start their business and they want to build their business.
Right.
But what about when beep hits the fan?
Yeah.
When everything's in disarray, there's chaos. I hire some people who are trash. Yeah,
that happens too.
Maybe I need to hire some people
and they're trash.
And they're trash. or one of my employees may be doing what they're not supposed to do, or maybe I just messed up as a business owner. And, number one are, what are the key elements and the key things I need to do to avoid that happening? But also, when should I involve you? When should I call my consultant to help me out?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like, you go to your doctor after you get sick, or if you're trying to avoid getting sick, or you go before, right? Make sure your blood work's good, and that's why we do our monthly consultations, and it's one of those things where it's like, look, you gotta be here every month. That's part of the package. And it's like, we call you to schedule the appointment, but we're not gonna force you to show up, because we're gonna get paid one way or the other, whether you show up or don't. So right. It's not like you not showing up or showing up makes a difference. It makes a difference in how you progress as a business owner, but it's one of those things where it's like, look, you have to put in the work. It's just like, if you're trying to, get lean and mean, you don't just wake up that way. And if you're trying to be a lean, mean business owner, then you got to put in that work. And it's the same concept where it's like, you have to come to your monthly meetings. You have to be communicative. You have to be able to pick up that phone and understand that you're not calling me for my permission. That's not what the call's about. All you're calling me to do is to bounce the idea off me and be like, hey, you're not in the heat of the moment like I am. So what do you think of this, right? Because a lot of the times, the decisions that we make are heat of the moment decisions. They're very emotion driven. They're very financial driven. But a lot of that stuff really stems from what are you trying to accomplish? And then what's the perspective from the outside looking in? And going back to the perspective that you take in has to be a valid one, right? You don't ask your dentist why your car's not working, and you don't ask your mechanic why your teeth are hurting, right? Because they might have a general idea, but they don't have the exact answer that you're looking for. So communication is like the biggest thing. I can't tell you how many businesses have walked through these doors and ultimately failed because they do things and then come to the table after they've already committed to like really big decisions, and you're like, and they go, I need help. There's no helping you anymore. You've made the bed. Now it's time for you to sleep in it, unfortunately, because that's the whole point of the consulting portion. It's like, I've even had clients where we don't deal in like vehicles or anything, but we definitely have like vendors who have wholesale companies and leasing companies. And I kid you not, one guy called one time, he was getting a Jeep, and he's like, actually, before I sign this paper, I'm going to call Art. And I was like, hey, client, what's going on? He goes, hey, dude, I don't know if you can do this, but I'm at the dealership right now. This is the car. This is the model. This is what they're telling me the best they can do on price. I said, okay, give me like 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, got him the same car, same thing, same trim. It was like $200 less. And he walked out of there, and the dealership was really unhappy, but he was super ecstatic because it was like, man, it took 10 minutes. It took 5 minutes, 10 minutes to make that call. And I just saved $200 for the next 3 years.
Hold on. We gotta slow this down.
Yeah.
I hope you guys all just heard what the heck just happened right here. My man took care of that in 10, 15 minutes. That's a freaking consultant for you right there. Like, that's somebody who's on top of it. What do you need? I can help you with that. You helped them with that. Now you got a happy client.
Yeah. And it's not even like within the realm of what his service agreement with us is. It was just like, I always tell clients, I'm like, you're a member, call. If I don't know, I don't know. And I'll tell you, hey, I'm not sure. But chances are, if I don't personally know, I know people who do. Because it's all a network game. And I only work with the people who are as good as me. So if I'm passing you over to somebody, I'm giving you nothing but the best. And it was one of those things where it was like, that guy took 10 minutes out of his day to save himself $7,200 for the next 2-3 years, where it's like, and all it took was a phone call. But then on the other side, like I was telling you, I've had clients who pick up the phone after, and they're like, I bought this vehicle or I bought this piece of equipment, and now I'm kind of stuck with it, and I can't make the payment. What do you want me to do? I'm a consultant, not a magician. Like, right. There's a difference.
That's got to be pretty rough and a little frustrating at the same time, because it's like, you want to help, but you're not putting me in that best position where I can help you.
I'll tell you one thing. In the beginning, it was harder than it is now. I became it's not that I'm divested in my clients. It's like what I always say. I can't care more than you can care, so I won't care more than you care. It used to keep me up at night. I'd be sitting in bed, not sleeping, tossing and turning. My wife's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm so upset. I can't believe they're so stupid to do this thing, this and this. And it's not even my business. Like, right. You know what I mean? But I truly do treat people's business like it's my business. And I had to, part of my own growth and continued education, because it never stops, is you can only care so much. You can't care more than somebody else. I will match the level of energy. I will match the level of care. I will match the level of, passion, but I will never exceed it, because that's reserved for you. And I don't want to take that from you.
So it's almost kind of like, it's like detaching a little bit, but it's more or less like, okay, I think that just goes into the kind of person you are. Because we talked a couple episodes ago, I think it was last episode, about integrity and good character. And when you're that kind of person and you get locked in.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to unlock.
You want to help so much.
Yeah.
It's like you have a friend, you've been helping this friend out for so long, but they just don't get it, and they keep.
Yeah, you just got to let them. You just got to let them fail.
Cut them loose and let them fail. But I know that's got to be pretty difficult. That would be hard for me.
It is hard, and like I said, it's taken a few years to detach from it. Where it's like, okay, You don't care. I don't care. You care. I care. Now that, there's a certain level of like, if I just see you don't care at all, then I usually cut those clients loose because I end up chasing more than I am. It becomes double the work because now I'm having to chase you to do basic things. And it's like, look, dude, you hired me for the exact reason so that you could get all these things taken care of, and you're not allowing me to take care of it. And now I'm having to chase you around. But the funny thing is nobody's ever come around and been like, you guys haven't done this or this, because they know they're doing it.
Right.
And part of it is I've even had people tell me I have been avoiding coming because I'm just embarrassed. And I was like, what are you embarrassed about? Oh, well, I've done none of the things that you said to do. And I just was so embarrassed to come here because I know you were going to be like, so what have you done so far?
It's that pride and ego.
Yeah, where it's like, look, dude, okay, so you're embarrassed to come here, but you set yourself back another 5 months. And I said, well, all it had to have been was that you came in here and said you're embarrassed because you're getting good advice, you're just not using it. And then I told him, what we could have done, which we're going to end up doing now, is we'll start doing those appointments. And instead of talking about it, we're just going to go together and go do it.
That's so key. Let's back up real quick. Have you ever found yourself kind of playing therapist?
All the time.
And like,
all the time.
Psychologist or whatever. Those people who don't do what you tell them to do, like when they do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
What is it that you go through with them in that conversation?
I'll tell you one thing, and I don't know if Kevin's in the chat right now, but shout out to Kevin if he is here, and if not, I'm sure he'll comment. He's the one that's always commenting. But he said it at his last appointment where he's like, I need to get you a sign that says, not a licensed therapist, but I'll talk to you about it. Where it's like, there's a big emotional aspect to this job because people can't really open up to their loved ones, to their employees, to their friends, but I always make sure it's like, you can do that here. Behind you is an alcohol shelf. That's typically drunk in the morning by clients, not during the day, not in the evening, all of that. There's a lot of like close to empty bottles over there. And it's the appointment before this even, it's, one of our clients just had such a rough day and, she came in here and I was like, are you okay? And she's like, I just had such a long day. And it was like, 5 o'clock. And I'm like, you want a drink? You know what I mean? Like, you want to take the edge off? And she's like, yeah. And it's just one of those things where it's like, we're so on the go. We're so in that moment. We're so gotta do it, gotta go, gotta do it, gotta go, that we don't even take a second to breathe. And then when we do come to a place like this office where it's designed for you to just shut out the world and just focus on each other and how your business is doing and how you're doing, I end up making these appointments more about how you're doing than the business, because there's a certain point where it's like, once we get everything rounded and squared away and you're good and we got it running like a clock, like a well-oiled clock, it's just doing its thing. In the beginning, it's always rough. I tell people, I'm like, when you sign on, the beginning's always the roughest. The beginning is where we bother you the most because we have to get all your disorganization and comb through it, find what's right, find what's wrong, and go from there. However, towards the end, you just come in here and you're like, I got nothing to talk about because it's all being done. And I'm like, yeah, you want to play some video games or something? You know what I mean? Even just getting you away for an hour and sitting down and you having a drink and just talking what's going on with business. What are your plans for 25? What are your plans for this? Whatever this. It just makes a huge difference because we don't get that out in the world because we're so on the go and we're having to deal with a million issues that sometimes it's nice to just sit down in a third place, as they say, the third place of yours, because you have your workplace, then you have your home, and then your third place. It's like a place where you can just be calm and collective and talk. And, that's where a lot of people, I've had people cry. I've had people break down. I've had some of the people just, I can only go through a range of emotions where it's like, what do? I'm just there for you, man. That's all I can be. And then if it's beyond the scope of just a conversation, we partner. So MITM Business Consultants partners with a big, a therapy firm here in the desert called Desert Marriage Family Counseling. And they take great care of our clients. If you are a member of MITM, you get discounted rates when you go over there. And you know, we're happy and proud of that relationship because it's really important, man. Mental health is a big thing. And especially, you know, amongst men predominantly who struggle the most from it because they don't really have a place to discuss it because we've got to be the leader of our household, you know, I know things change and it's not every man and relationship, but there's breadwinners and, you know, them holding their family together. And it's like, it's hard, man. I see more of my men, like clients, struggling emotionally and mentally than I do my women.
Yeah. It's always within most men. I say every man. There's always a silent battle going on.
Oh yeah. All the time.
All the time. And every day we got to like not swallow it, but we have to say, okay,
we got bigger things. Our kids are hurting. Our wife is hurting. This is hurting. Business is hurting. Yeah, it's like we put ourselves
here. My daughter wants me here. You know, my job or my business wants me here, and I have to be present.
Yeah,
I can't just be there. I got to be present.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that gets rough. And you know, just hearing you talk, just even when we talk in our relationship, just to get a little bit not personal, but you know, like. Before we start this show, we start talking about things and things like that.
Yeah, we got to get our hellos and goodbyes.
Time,
exactly.
We got to get the bro time
exactly.
in.
Nobody,
you know?
you guys don't know, is we come in, we sit down, we talk. How's life? How's the family? How's this? How are you? How's mental? And then we go, okay, ready? Because we need that too. Because at the end of the day, it's like I suck in so much emotion from everybody that I don't even get a chance to talk about how I'm feeling.
Bro, and we're drained.
Yeah.
Especially like as of right now, I can honestly say I'm a person that wants to have a business going some here, some day. So that's why I'm blessed to be doing this show with you. However, even when you're working like a 9-to-5 job, there's certain things that you're taking on, especially if you're in a leadership position.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you're taking on every day. So it's almost like, man, it's deeper than just being a consultant.
Oh yeah, it is deeper than that.
Depending on the actual consultant, though, some people are. Just
no, for sure. In our industry, in this industry, I'll tell you right now, that's gone. That's it's not a common thing. Mm-hmm. The industry has changed so drastically, where all it is money. It's money. That's it. And it's like, look, I get it. I say this all the time. Money's important, but it's not my driver.
Right.
And because I focus relationship first, money second, the money always comes, but the relationships are meaningful. Every client we have is a great client. Every client we have a deep connection with. And I can proudly say and confidently say that there is no other consulting firm or business, agency that can say that.
I believe that, man. I believe that. So I want to kind of go deeper back into this topic. I know we kind of went a little deep with some other things, but I really do believe that a lot of you out there just got some gems and you guys just learned a lot from that. And hopefully that will make you guys want to join up and get a membership so you can have a consultant like this that's going to have your back, that's going to be there for you every step of the way as you grow your business. Now, we talked about disaster,
yeah.
Right? So as business owners, you have employees. You have to hire employees, and you want to pick the right ones, but sometimes we just don't pick the right ones. So when do you think is the right time to involve the consultant? Because I'm sure you get clients coming in like, oh, this freaking Johnny is just doing terrible. Or maybe Johnny's a great guy, or Jill is a great lady, but they're just not good.
Yeah, they don't have the chops for it. I get it. I have some clients who will say, hey, can you sit in during the hiring process? Because we offer HR management and consulting where it's like we will do the hiring and firing for you if you don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But let's say that that's not the case and the client can't afford to pay for that. Okay, no problem. We'll look at the resume with you. And, I'll never forget, this was it was an interesting development where a person sent in a resume and all I saw, it was a young kid too, it was like 20, 21 years old. And I saw like 11 jobs on the resume. And the business owner was super ecstatic about that. And he's like, oh, dude, this is so great. She's got so much work experience. It's going to be fantastic. And I looked at him and I said, are you stupid? I'm like, are you missing the point? Like, you have 11 jobs here. This chick is 20. How do you go through 11 jobs in 2 years of working? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you don't think about that. He's over here going, oh my God, this is so great. I said, I don't think you should hire this person because that is proportionately insane. 2 years, 11 jobs.
If that's legitimate, it's definitely insane.
Right. And it wasn't like she was like, oh, I worked at, Creative Ideas LLC. No, it was like, oh, I worked at Hobby Lobby. Oh, I worked here. I worked here. I worked here. And it's like, dude, there's 11 jobs in 2 years. That means you're averaging almost 6 jobs every year, which means you're only getting 2 months in at each job. Like, that doesn't scare you.
Right.
And he's sitting there, oh, he's so proud. And I just looked at him and I said, are you stupid? You know what I mean? And he's like, why? I was like, what do you mean, why? Why would somebody have 11 jobs in 2 years? That means either she's terrible or she's just constantly hopping around looking for a 50-cent raise, dollar raise, 50-cent raise. But after 6, there's only so much raise you can go. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
So he, didn't take my advice. She was very beautiful too, and I think that had to do with why he hired her. And don't get me wrong, she was very beautiful. But that doesn't change the fact that she had 11 jobs in 2 years. And I don't care how beautiful somebody is, I'm not there to hire you beauty, I'm there to hire you quality, right? There's a difference. So This thing it was a train wreck employee
bad from the start.
Literally, when I say not only was it the most surreal experience because this person was so self-centered, I would walk into their office to come check on things and I'd be like, hey, say her name is Jessica. It's not Jessica. We're just going to, hey, Jessica, how are you? Good. This went on for weeks. And I was like, and I just got fed up. I said, Jessica, when someone asks you how you're doing, you're supposed to go, I'm well. How are you? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, teach you basic manners of
Right.
how a conversation, she never asked how any of her clients were doing. She never asked any of her coworkers how they were doing. Everybody would ask her how she's doing, and she'd blab, 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 this, I'm going to LA, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. One day I was looking over her time clocks. I'm like, why is this chick always late? Oh, I don't know. So I went over there and I said, hey, Jessica, I need to talk to you. Okay. Why are you late when you're on premise? I don't get it. Like, you go to lunch and then you're here, but you're late when you come back. Oh, I was filming TikToks in the car. Okay. And she's like, yeah, well, because I'm getting really popular on TikTok. I said, that's great that you're getting popular on TikTok, but that's on your time, not company time. You're clocking in late. You have 30 minutes. So you can wait for before work, after work, or you can spend your lunch filming TikToks, but filming TikToks and becoming big on TikTok is not an excuse. It got to the point where the business owner was like, I made a mistake. And I'm like, you made a mistake a long time ago.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's not made a mistake. How long did it take? How long did it take?
Dude, it took it. I mean, she was a train wreck from the start, but I think the beauty wore off after like 2 or 3 months. And he's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what? I made a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, I know you made a mistake, stupid. That's why I called you stupid 3 months ago when you said she's great. I said you picked her because she
look at.
Yeah, I was like, you picked her because she was great to look at, but she was the most unproductive. I'm not trying, and I'm not trying to bash on this person. It's just there was no character there. Everything was about the beauty, and that was it. And it just, I don't know. It was the most surreal experience. And I was like, well, now she can have 12 employers on her resume. So, we ended up getting rid of her because none of her work got done. And it was like, it's that one decision in that 3 months. I think that business owner lost about $3,200 in revenue just on top of the wages that he was paying her. So like, if you factor in what he was paying her on top of the revenue that was lost, he probably lost almost 10 grand in 3 months. last time we talked about a disgruntled employee and what it can cost a business owner per employee, which is about $5,000 in lost wages. And the disgruntled employee doesn't even have to be from you. Like, you could have done nothing wrong. It could be because they're at home, their wife's not treating them well, their girlfriend's emotionally messing with them, their kids are stressing them out, they're going to school. I mean, whatever, like all the millions of things that we have to deal with in life. But that person now coming to work, being off their game, is now costing you as the owner $5,000. So it's like, how do you circumvent that? Well, like, I can only make your experience at work good. I can't make your experience at home good.
Right.
I can't make your relationship with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, good. I can't make your relationship with your family good. So how do I make work a place where you can come and separate yourself? Because that's the biggest conversation I have with a lot of employees, is like, you need to separate those things and compartmentalize them. Like, when you're home, you're home. Mm-hmm. You don't bring work home. But when you're at work, you don't bring home to work either. And it's about really, like, when I walk through these doors, my problems don't exist. But when I walk out of these doors, I go back to dealing with my problems, because I don't think we understand that, how our problems bleed in to the rest of the world.
Yep. Whether
it's with just not noticing what a crappy attitude you have and how it's affecting your clientele and even the way you talk to your clients. We've all had an experience walking in, being super nice to somebody. Hey, how's your day? Great. What can I do for you? And you're like, God damn.
Right. It's
like, listen.
Like, don't you want my business?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
no?
like, this actually happened recently. We went to Frank & Sons, which is this like huge collector place in City of Industry. Mm-hmm. And I went to go buy a bunch of collector cards and stuff for this game I play called Magic the Gathering. And I went up, by the way, like I paid good money for these cards. And I went up with my list, and my list had like $300, $200 to $300 worth of cards on it. And I walked up to this vendor and I was like, hey man, and he had a bunch of cards out there. And I was like, hey bro, I just had a quick question. Do you have these cards? And he's like, don't you see all these cards on this? It's going to take me hours to sort through it. So come back in 2 hours or go get it somewhere else. I was like, okay. I'm going to go next door to your neighbor over here who's selling those cards. And he heard how much I was buying those cards for, like 200, 300, 200, 300, 200, 300. He's like, hey, man, I have those cards too. You can come here. I said, no, you don't. You're too busy sorting your shit, remember? So you're not getting my business, because I have a choice.
Yeah.
You treat me like crap, I have a choice.
My brain went to a whole other place. I couldn't do it, dude.
Yeah, no, that was it.
I get so damn pissed. It's like, it's not called for. You want my money.
Don't be a business if you don't want my money. Right, exactly.
You will talk to me like that, but you want my money. It's like...
And I don't even try to get even or anything. I'm just like, all right, dude, have fun with that. But no, so it's like that impacted, I'm not saying that ruined that guy's day, but he lost revenue because of it. And that was the owner of the booth, where it's like, this is how you treat your potential clients. I've talked about a scenario where the wife and I went to go buy a car for her, and I'm trying to remember what the stupid dealership name is. It was in who makes the Nautilus? The
Nautilus?
Is it Lincoln?
I believe it is Lincoln.
So I think it's Lincoln. We went to a Lincoln dealership. It's somewhere in like Long Beach or Orange County or somewhere. Dude, I have never had such bad experience there. Like anywhere like there. Mm-hmm. And I told my wife, I was like, we don't dress up in diamonds and this and this and this. Like, we're pretty low-key people. We live below our means. But I was like, damn, I didn't know we looked homeless. You know what I mean? That's how we were being treated. And we walked in and we were trading in her Mercedes, and they were like, we can give you $600. And I'm like, dude, there's a place up the street that offered me $8. He's like, well, then go up the street. I was like, all right. Well, I was like, well, what about this car? And it's just what the car my wife wanted, but he was like, oh, well, this car just came out, this and this and that. I was like, right, but if you can't give me the trade for what these car companies are giving me, well, then just take off the car and we'll meet in the middle. Oh, I'm not doing that. He's like, why don't you go down to Lexus or something, and you can figure it out there. And I'm like, all right, bro. So whatever. We drove up to Long Beach. We traded our car in with Echo Park, and Echo Park gave us like $8,500 for that Mercedes, where this Lincoln dealership was like, $600. And I told him, I said, look, dude, it's going to take us about an hour to get up there. Let's go trade in the car, and then it's going to take us an hour to get back. It's like 4 o'clock. We just driven in from the desert. So he goes, well, you might want to hurry up because we close at 6. And I was like, Liz, I'm getting ready to punch this dude square in his face. We need to get in the car and go because I'm getting pissed off now.
Right.
Now I'm just getting annoyed. As I have some like 23-year-old kid who's just acting like the ground he walks on is God's given gift to the world, and it was starting to really piss me off. So anyways, shout out to Grant if you're in the chat right now. He remembers this day, so that's one of our bookkeepers, and I called him because he lives in Orange County, and I was like, in Anaheim, I was like, hey dude, can you meet us at the Long Beach because I'm gonna pay you to just drive us back to the desert because I don't want to buy from that Lincoln place. So we call this Echo Park, we get there, and it's like, oh, there is, dude, the place of which they were, there was no, like, the place was run down, the roof was caving in. I was like, don't tell me this is a scam. And so I called him, and I'm like, hey, bro, you guys gave us an address online, and I see your building, but it's walled off, the roast cave. He's like, oh, we're in the BMW now. Okay, so I go down the street, go to the BMW. Sure enough, I see, my Lebanese people, my Persian people working there. The sales manager was Armenian, and he's like, what's going on? We're like, we're just here to trade in our car. And I'm telling him how pissed off I am at this dealership. So he's like the usual. I mean, I was going to be too, brother, I will take care of it. I was like, all right, dude. And he goes, my sales manager is Armenian, and I'm from Lebanon. We'll take good care of you. Okay, cool. Bro, we get a $60,000 car. He marked it down to like 46, plus took in our 8 trade right then and there. And we walked out. But this guy, while we're signing the paperwork on this X5 BMW, he's like, hey, are you guys coming back? And I was like, we're signing papers on an X5. And I hung up on him.
So you did get his ass back.
Oh, yeah. I was like, learn to sell, you stupid bitch. I just let him have it. The dealer, we're at the dealership. The finance manager's laughing his ass off. I was like, that guy, dude. I hate that dude. Hope I never see you on the streets. It's on site.
Hey, man, you know me. I probably would have went back home. I would have waited till they closed. And waited in the parking lot for his ass.
And you know what that sale did? The BMW guy got it. He's like, look, man, I'm not really making money on this car. You bought the best warranty plan. That's where we make our money. And this is where transparency is huge, right? He told me, he's like, I'm going to have to get the next guy. There's spreads on these cars.
Right.
He's like, this is what I bought it for. I made this much off you. I'm going to make more off this. And I respect people like that. Look, I get it. You got to make your money. Just be, don't sit there and try to screw me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a business dude.
Don't BS me. Yeah, just.
And he was so honest with me. And I said, that's why I did the deal with you. Because you were honest with me from the start. And you're like, look, bro, this is what I can do off this car. It's a showcase. It's the M Sport Edition. This is what I can do. It's going to cost, sticker says 60. I can give it to you for 46. And this is how much I'm going to make off of it. So I'm going to have to get the next guy. And I'm like, screw the next guy. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what I got in front of me right now. I can't fix the world. I can only fix what's around me.
Right.
And I said, how else do you make your money? And he goes, look, bro, I make my money off. I already know how they make their money. I've been in this game to know how all these people who in these sales jobs make their money. But I was like, we bought every warranty you could get because my wife I want to make sure my wife's car is good. I don't got to worry about it. And what happens? You got the deal because you didn't have to act hard to get. You didn't have to treat me like shit.
Like you were down here.
Yeah, like I'm down there. And I don't know if he didn't think we were serious. I don't know if he thought we were there to waste time, but it's like, but you didn't even give me a chance to, talk. You just talked down on me like I'm some idiot young kid who walked in this dealership who doesn't deal with billions of dollars on the regular. And you're just telling me, well, go here, go here, go here. We know what we have. Well, great, dude. You have a car with an engine that gets me to point A to point B. My wife may like this car, but I don't like this car enough to sit there and take this abuse.
Yeah, I don't like you.
I don't like you. And for me, you represent the dealership. And I think that's a really important thing to understand. Is like, when is the right time to hire somebody and all that? We talked about this before. You're saying, how do we know who's right? Just remember that every time you put a person in front of a business, it's not your business anymore. Your business is being represented by that person. And if that person is going to talk to its clients the way that I was talked to, or the way that this chick that he hired, this person we're naming Jessica, treats the general public with never asking how they're doing, there's a certain point it's like, I have options. You are not the only dealership in town. And yes, I may have wanted what you had, but there's plenty of other people there that I can respect and give my business to because they're honest. And they're just looking at it like, this is what I'm going to make off you. And that's okay. Because at the end of the year, it ebbs and flows. And, you know, I may not make it off you, but I'll make it somewhere else. And then it'll even out.
It's kind of like that saying is people remember how you made them feel.
That's it.
When you walk in an establishment and I feel like, gosh, you guys don't want me here. I don't feel. I remember I used to go to a gym out here, right? And it wasn't really me, but I would kind of see how they would judge people. People at the front desk, they would just look at people like. But then you got somebody else walking in who've been going there for years. They're in shape already. They'll just be like, "Hey, what's up, so and so?" Another person walk in. Maybe they're not in shape. They're not there yet. They just kind of,
hey.
And I was just like, and I actually pulled a guy to the side of the little
kiosk.
At the kiosk thing. I said, "Hey, my man," I said, "you might want to work on that, dude, because you're going to drive away business." He was like, "What do you mean, sir?" I said, "Well, I noticed that this person walked in and you didn't really greet them how you greeted me. Now, yes, you see me here all the time, but this lady comes in here all the time, too.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're judging her off her looks, and you're not greeting her because she doesn't look a certain way. That's what it looks like. I'm not saying it's what you're doing. It's what it looks like."
Yeah.
He was like, "Man, I didn't realize I was doing that." I said, "Well, you are. And you're probably learning it in this environment." So people walk in, some people already feel a little insecure being there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, I can tell.
A car.
Yeah. Well, like even the gym thing, dude. Like I'm down all this weight, and even I get insecure about walking to the gym half the time because I'm like, damn, I ain't what I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to be pushing 315 on the bench. Now I'm like 10 pounds on each side. Just, I can't. And I'm like, I can't do this in public. I got a name to keep myself. But it's one of those things, dude, where it's like, how you feel is really important. And I know we say, oh, we don't get... The reality is it's a feelings game. Sales is a feelings game. How did that person make me feel is a huge thing because that's how referrals... When we talk about 65% of business being referrals, that ties into it. You have to give somebody a great experience. I can't tell you how many people I have sung praises to about Long Beach BMW. And how many people have actually gone to buy a car there. Because I had nothing but good things to say.
There you go.
Where it's like, do you want to be treated like human? That's the place to go. You want to be treated with respect and integrity? That's the place to go. You want to be treated like shit? Go to Lincoln or Orange County, wherever city it is. And, you know, I hope they go out of business. I hope it happens.
Hey, man, after how you said that, okay, I'm about to say the MF. After you said how that guy treated you, yeah, because if this is what you got representing you, you kind of deserve that.
Exactly, because that means you have no quality. If you hire somebody like that, that's what Lincoln represents.
Man, I pride myself, man, and and one of the companies I work with is when I'm around people, because I deal in the medical field with this particular company, so I try to put my best face forward, my best everything forward, because I want people to view that company not being a rinky-dink company. Yeah. That we're professional. You know, we really want to cater to your needs as much as we possibly can. We want to make sure we treat you gently. We want to make sure that when you're in our hands, you feel so comfortable and safe. Right. You know, and it's unfortunately, you have people who just don't have that in them. They just don't even understand that concept.
Yeah. Just to even ask, how's your day going?
Just simple as that. How's your day going? How are you feeling today? Whatever. Just ask you something about them to even get their mind of something that's probably that they're going through. Yeah. You know, so I'm sure that business owner learned a lot about hiring. I'm sure he didn't hire any more Jessicas.
No, and that wasn't the business owner that hired Jessica.
Oh, no, I know that, but I'm just saying,
you're talking about the...
Yeah, I'm talking about the actual... No, not
yeah,
that.
I got you. Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you come to your consultant with... You guys, and I can't speak on behalf of every consultant. I'm talking about me. When you work with us and you work with me, you can come to me about everything. And I'm going to take what you asked me, and we're going to figure out where that goes, how it gets dealt with, and who can help you with that. I'm going to be upfront with you. I may not be able to handle all of those things. But if I can't, I know somebody who can, and if they're willing to work on it, great. We're fantastic on that. Yeah, I saw that camera's frozen already. Thank you, Mr. Ice Pack.
Appreciate you.
But that's one of those things where it's like, look, dude, you have to look at every business decision you make as a critical decision. Now, I always say this, like, you can people who've never hired employees and they're scared to. I'm like, you can always undo those decisions. Those are the decisions that will not make or break your business unless something crazy happens. Like, this person stabbed somebody. Like, if Jessica came into work, got sick of work, stabbed somebody, now we have a whole different legal issue on our hands, right? That could ruin your business. But when you're talking about hiring, you don't want to just look at any person who comes in as a body that can do the job, right? Because if that's the quality in which you're looking for is a pulse, it's like when somebody's like, I'm looking for a girl. What are the qualities you're looking for? A pulse.
Right.
Well, then you have no right to complain that she beats you. You know what I mean? Because the criteria, the criteria that you set forth, the standard in which you set forth was so bare minimum that it's like, that's what you think about your business. That's the quality you portray. It's like, it's the same reason where it's like going forward, every person that services clients has to be a certain level of charismatic, a certain level of customer service, a certain level of professionalism. And these things have to amalgamate into like, not the perfect employee, but an employee that has their stuff together where it's like, look, you may not be able to solve all the problems, but you're pleasant to deal with. And being pleasant to deal with gives you a lot of leeway. That even when you make a mistake, a client who just appreciates you and understands that you're not perfect, you're going to make a mistake here and there, but the relationship supersedes any mistake that can be made because they know the quality of work you do, that even though you've acknowledged you made a mistake, you're going to take the time and, fix that mistake. But sitting there and just hiring bare minimum and then allowing that to bleed into the public, where it's like you're giving bare minimum, the customer's receiving bare minimum, and then you have the audacity to be like, I wonder why my business isn't thriving. Because you aren't giving it the fuel it needs. Your business needs 91, you're giving it 87. And you're wondering why it's not running smooth.
Right.
It's just what it is. It's like, you have to understand where quality meets customer service. And there's, we talk about the trifecta. We talk about the 3 business things. Well, it's like, and your employee has to have that too. Customer service, standard operation procedures has to be set up. And that's what we do a lot of, where it's like helping clients realize what's the standard op? How do you make this new employee follow the guideline that you set forth? And it's really just by having standard op procedures that anybody can pick up and be like, this is how we do things at this company. It's just that simple.
Man, that's great, man. I think we definitely went over some key things that a lot of business owners really go through. And a lot of these business owners don't have anyone to turn to. It's people, they don't have a consultant.
No, or they're afraid to because they think it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. It's like, dude, our consulting plan's $100 a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
You can afford $100 a month, and there's no contract. Nothing we do here is contract. Everything's month to month. And people are like, that's crazy. Why don't you do contracts? I'm like, why do I need to do contracts? If you don't want to be here, I don't want you to be here. That's why we have a 98% retention rate. You're not forced to be here, but where are you going to go? Who's going to give you the same quality, the same customer service, the same, level of respect, the same care for an entry level of $100 a month? And then as you continue to need more services, obviously the price goes up. But we're talking foot through the door, $100 a month, and you can call anytime you have questions and potentially save yourself thousands because you took 10 minutes out of your day to make a phone call. It's like, we had a client today come in. I was thinking about buying this car, and we looked at everything. We're like, for tax purposes, it makes more sense for you to lease a vehicle than it does to buy a vehicle outright. She's like, oh, wow, I didn't even think of that. It's like, I'd rather you keep your $30,000 cash, only spend $7,000 in the course of 3 years, and get full deductions around the clock for everything you're doing with that vehicle. She's like, damn, that does make sense.
And that's why you got to hire a consultant.
Yeah,
I would never
the right consultant.
That's amazing, man. So before we get ready to wrap it up here, are any lasting gems you want to give to people when it comes to avoiding business disasters?
I mean, it's the same gem I've given in every podcast where it's like, accept humility, be humble, and understand that you don't know everything, and that's okay. I don't know everything about your business, and you don't know everything about being a business owner. And if we work together, we can educate each other. You can educate me in your industry, and I can educate you on the business side of things on how these good practices will make your business better. Because there's a million places that people can go. That's just what it is. Today's day and age is not how it used to be back in the day, where it was like Circuit City was the place to go for TVs and cables. There was no Amazon. Best Buy was not a thing yet. You had Sears and Circuit City. And there was very few levels of competition where it's like now I have a choice everywhere I go. I can go online, I can go down the street, I can go here, and I have a choice. I can spend more money than what I could get online, but am I getting service? Then I'll pay for that for a mom and pop brick and mortar. But you being a brick and mortar doesn't mean I want to pay more if you don't provide the value that you're telling me you're worth. Well, we're more expensive than Amazon. Why? Because we're brick and mortar. Cool. So you better show me respect as a client at least. Build a relationship. And, there's a local game store here in town called the Dragon's Den. And I can't, big kudos to them because they make everybody who walks in there feel welcome. They have a relationship. So I choose to buy products from them when I could easily get it for $5 to $7 cheaper online. But the difference is like I'm seeing a family-run business thrive, grow, become better, and their focus is relationship and doing things right. So it's like I'll pay the $5 for that. But you treat me like crap, I don't care that you're a brick and mortar. I don't care if you disappear tomorrow. Your business is gone. You don't deserve to be a business if this is how you treat your customers. This is what it is.
Experience.
Right.
You want an experience when you go in somewhere. So I don't understand how people don't get that.
Yeah.
That's someone who's a consumer, and I go into places where you feel like you're not welcome, or you feel like the service is subpar. It's like, gosh, for a restaurant, for example, you want me to tip you?
Brother, tipping culture is gone.
You didn't even check on me. You didn't. Not at one.
I saw red for a second. Don't start me on tipping culture. That's another dude.
That's the next.
I'm gonna share this with you. I went to Starbucks to get a water. Mm-hmm. It cost me $1 to get the water. They had the audacity to pull that stupid tablet out, and the tip started at $2, $5, and $7
just did it before I
for
left.
$1 water. And I'm like, you must be out of your damn mind. And you know what upsets me the most? God, I hate this so much. It's just fueling my rage right now. It's going to ask you a question on the screen. It's not asking me a question. It's asking if I want a tip. Stop posing it like it's a question. It's not a question. Dude. Okay. I think it's time before I go. This rant's going to get really aggressive and angry.
I see it in your eyes.
I hate tipping culture. I'm not saying, look, I get it. Great service deserves tips. Just like great businesses deserve the difference.
Right.
I got to stop.
We'll get to that on another show. So people, thank you so much for joining us. So people who are going to be watching this later, not live, thank you so much for joining us. It's me, your boy Kendall, a.k.a. K-Doze, and we got the man in the middle.
Yeah, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just have a good holidays. We're going to skip next week's podcast because it's going to be a family time.
Right.
Maybe 2 or 3 more podcasts till the end of the year, and then we'll get ready for 2025 and get into all that. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, USCCA, once again for being a sponsor of the channel, and I hope everybody else has a great day. Take care.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening to Man in the Middle. If you haven't yet, please consider liking and subscribing to the show. If you can't wait till next episode, follow us on Instagram at MITM Business Consulting and online at mitm.services. There, you can learn more about what we do, how we can help, and the custom services we offer around your personal needs. Until next time, If you'd like to choose the topic we discuss and receive additional services, consider joining our membership program at mitm.services.
Disclaimer. Man in the Middle expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, reliance on, or inability to use this podcast or the information presented in this podcast.
We look forward to you tuning in next time.